This is the Aftermarket Radio Network.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Auto Repair Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Walker, and today my guest is Caroline Legrand, who is our Chief Marketing Officer here at Shop Marketing Pros and used to run our messaging team. And she knows a lot about the topic that we're talking about today, and that is going to be planning for your January's marketing. And this is the first episode that is in a new series where we will be taking you through each month of the year. So each month we will have a show that is dedicated to what to do in your marketing or what to be thinking about as you're planning for your marketing in the upcoming months. But first, let me thank our sponsors, RepairPal and AppFueled. Thank you to our friends at RepairPal for providing you this episode. RepairPal is the key that unlocks more business for your repair shop. Learn more at repairpal.com/shops. And are you ready to convert clients to members? AppFueled specializes in creating custom apps tailored specifically for auto repair businesses. Build client loyalty. Get started today with your own customer loyalty app. Visit appfueled.com. Well, hi, Caroline.
Hi. It's nice to be back on the podcast. I haven't been on here in a good bit of episodes.
It has been a little while. I'm glad to have you here. I'm excited to be talking about what we're talking about today. This is something that you and our messaging team used to get together every month and talk through these things, right?
Yes. We started when Kim was still the director of the messaging team. Haley and I would get together and just talk and collaborate on the topics we were talking about that month for our shops, the ideas that our shops had brought to us that we hadn't thought of. And it led into me hosting the same meeting with the team when I started running it. And it ultimately has now led to us creating what we call a year at a glance for our social media clients. And we go through and have this kind of outline and overview of all the hot topics in the year relating to auto repair and just relating to content that might be relevant within your community that you can post on your social media. And it all goes back to that idea of having marketing that helps people get to know, like, and trust you.
Yeah. As we're out teaching, we'll often have people say to us things like, I would love to do more with marketing, but I don't know what to do. If you don't know what it is that you're going to be doing in your marketing, it's probably because you haven't planned it. Planning is such an important part of having good marketing. We actually just a couple of events. So Kim and Caroline were just up in New York at West Point leading our first inaugural, I better not say first annual. They were leading our inaugural Planning with the Pros event where they took some shop owners through the process of planning out their entire year of marketing. The other thing is this past week, we also spent time as a team planning out our own marketing. As you know, we believe in eating our own dog food. And I couldn't imagine trying to do our marketing without going into it with a plan.
Yeah, what we talked a lot about at Plan with the Pros when Kim and I met with a group of female shop owners is planning out your whole marketing. And it's kind of like what we did last week too, looking at the whole overview, which includes a lot more than just your social media. But I think especially for shop owners, the easiest thing for y'all to do in your shops on your own or to hire somebody within the shop to do is the social media. It's kind of, I don't want to say the low hanging fruit, but it's the one that everybody is on social media. Most people have some sort of account, so they know how to post, they know how to interact. And it's the easiest thing that I would say anybody is capable of doing. But one of the things that the shop owners gave Kim and I the most feedback about regarding Plan with the Pros was that they wanted to talk more about these monthly campaigns and these monthly topics. We took a very broad marketing approach and they wanted that month to month basis. So that's what this series will provide. And having the plan is what's going to allow you to do it and make it happen.
As we record this, we are at the end of 2024. So when we talk through some of these things, if you're listening to it in 2026, because these podcasts are evergreen, they stay around forever. If you're listening to it in 2026 or afterwards, if we throw some dates out there, because we're going to talk about some things like some of those days of the year. If we happen to throw any dates along with that, you need to check it and make sure that the date is correct for the year that you are planning for. And you can find all of that stuff at daysoftheyear.com. And also, I'm not sure if this is going to be a thing that we do for 1 year and then we don't repeat after that, because I don't know if it would make sense for us to repeat planning out your January's marketing again next year, or if it would basically be the same show over again. So we'll play that one by ear. This is something that we will do one for every month of the year. And it is October 2024 as we record this. Actually, it will launch, like this will come out early November 2024 for you to start planning your January marketing. And we're going to shoot for about a 2-month lead time on these episodes so that it gives you time to be able to plan as you listen to them. Well, let's go ahead and get into January's topics, Caroline.
Yeah, one of the, I think, easiest things to do when you're talking just about your social media, and one of the things that's easily forgotten is a lot of the marketing that we see on a day-to-day basis is done by national, larger, like huge organizations where they have a lot of budget and a lot of brain power to put out these crazy campaigns and things like that. But when we're looking at shops, you're a local business, you're within your community. So one of the easiest things to do throughout the year is always going to be to tie back to what's happening in your community. Generally, there's not too much happening in January, though. It's that beginning of a new year, end of the holiday season. A lot of the, I guess, automotive or shop related topics we'll typically go through are things like continuing to discuss winter car care or winter driving safety, especially if you're in an area where there's a lot of snow, or winter weather. We're in Louisiana, so we don't usually have icy roads or anything like that. We don't have to swap out for snow tires, but there's still different safety mechanisms or things that you may be changing in your driving patterns that you as an auto repair shop can educate people on. The maintenance that needs to happen specifically when the weather's cold, or talking about keeping your car the proper temperature, your cooling systems, maintaining your battery during that time. So coming from a position of educating your audience, whether they're customers or just people in your community, and then relating it, like we said, back to what's happening in your community.
Yeah, and there's so many things that can go along with the winter, weather. You've got your tires, you've got your windshield wipers, you've got, like Caroline said, your cooling system, your battery is a big one, but just all of those things that you know about, and even down to the things that you give away. Shops are always looking for ideas of like what they're going to give away. Well, I mean, ice scrapers are, a good thing to give away. And, just think about what else. And one other thing that Caroline said that I want to really stress the importance of is she was talking about the things that are happening in your local community. We don't know what those things are that are happening in your local community. We can't tell you that in the planning of this. So it's something that you should be thinking about beyond what we're talking about on here. What's happening in your local community? Because those local community events can be much more impactful than celebrating some national day of the year or something like that.
100%. Another easy beginning of the year topic that's really fun to do is this idea of, very simple when you think about New Year, New You, or New Year's resolutions, but flipping it in terms of talking about New Year, New You. Maybe you as the auto repair shop, you're going to encourage your customers to have a resolution based on having their oil changes scheduled instead of waiting before the oil light comes on and things like that, where new you, new focus on your car care and maintaining that, resolutions for better car care and protecting that investment of your vehicle, and kind of portraying that messaging to your audience.
So as we go through these each month, we'll be talking about some things that are, related to the month itself, the various weeks of that month, because there's all kinds of, holidays and celebrations. And, like Breast Cancer Awareness Month, for example, that is, I believe, February or October? No, October. Yeah, and we're in October.
We're in it right now.
You have these months like that, and we're going to talk about those. And then you have the weeks. We're going to talk about the weeks, and then we'll talk about the days. Those things are, most people think like social media celebrations of sorts when we talk about those, but it can go beyond that. You can run campaigns around these and all kinds of just fun things with your marketing. And marketing, again, it's about getting people to know, like, and trust you. And if you have fun with your marketing, that's going to add to that like part of the know, like, trust.
Definitely. And in each of these podcasts, we'll have a document linked in the notes that's going to have an outline of automotive shop topics, the months, days, weeks, and a couple other campaign ideas that might be relevant per month or kind of per season. We probably won't touch on every single one in our conversation because not every single one is worth a whole conversation. but be sure to get that PDF from the link in the notes and check them out, print them out, add them to your monthly planning as you're working on things, your annual planning, and that will help give you a framework for everything too.
Let's get into the monthly topics of January.
So the main monthly topics, there are more than this, and it's nationaldaycalendar.com where most of these topics came from. We kind of pull the ones that are most common in auto repair or that we see within shops or within communities. And so the big three that we have listed at least are National Hobby Month, Blood Donor Month, and Mentoring Month. Like we said, usually January, at least in your local community, there's not a ton going on, but something fun to do in January, if you're talking about Hobby Month, could be going around and doing a meet the team kind of thing and talking about every one of your team members' hobbies. Or if you're a specialty shop in something like off-roading or you do customizations, anything like that, talking about the hobby of your customers that they're getting out and exploring and connecting with them on a deeper level, asking them when they come in the shop what their hobbies are and doing customer highlights and sharing them.
And then with National Blood Donor Month, I mean, you could always invite the Bloodmobile out and have a, what do you call it? Blood drive. Yep. Have a blood drive at your shop. Like, we're big fans of hosting events at your shop. And that's exactly what that would be an event. And anytime that you have an opportunity to get people to your shop, whether they are there for auto repair or not, it makes it that much more likely that when they do need auto repair later, they're going to think of your shop rather than another one.
100%. The last one is National Mentoring Month. I know many auto repair shops have business coaches. There's also tons of training opportunities within the automotive industry where maybe your service advisors are in a training program, your technicians are trying to get new certifications, or you as a shop are planning on attending events throughout the year. Talking about those plans at the beginning of the year, this could still tie into that new shop, new year, new you, resolutions, anything along those lines, and sharing what you do within your shop and within your staff to better yourselves and continue to provide great service and great repairs to your community.
Yeah, very often in a shop, you'll have that one older tech that has been around, for a while, and they kind of become the shop mentor. They're the ones that take the newer guys, the younger guys under their wing and, help them out. And if you have that person in your shop, this is a great time to celebrate them. How about the weeks?
I just removed one from the document as we were working, but two major weeks we have are National Pizza Week and the Hunt for Happiness Week. And I know that's so cliche to say National Pizza Week, but I know there's a shop somewhere listening to this that has really great local pizza in your town. And maybe that whole week or one day of that week, maybe not the whole week, you're bringing pizza in from the local shop and feeding your staff, having a pizza giveaway or a pizza party at the shop, anything like that. It doesn't mean that your whole marketing campaign is like around these ideas of Pizza Week or Pizza Day or anything like that, but it just helps give you ideas of what you can do in your shop, then gives you content if you think about it.
Look, so if you're just listening to this podcast, these podcasts are videoed also. So Caroline and I are not in the same place right now, but we can see each other, and she can see me over here laughing about the National Pizza Week because it's such a, I don't know if divisive would be the right word, but it's one of those topics that, like she said, it's so cliche to talk about the pizza party. But every month we pick someone who's the most engaged person in our Facebook group and we send lunch to them. And do you know what they ask for the most? Pizza. So you can make fun of pizza all you want, but people like pizza. I know I do. And I'm keto right now. So I really, really like pizza right now that I can't have.
I am one of the people that I love using the National Day Calendar to help come up with ideas for content, but it is going to grind my gears like no other if I see a post, especially if like I made it and look back on it, that's like Happy National Pizza Day. I'm like, that is, in retrospect, you always learn. And, when you start off on your marketing, that's the easier things to do and you grow from there. But I would look back at that and probably feel very cringy. But there are ways to do it where I'm at the point now where it just gives me the ideas. And if I'm like, oh, it's National Pizza Week, if I saw that on Facebook or anywhere like that, I would get my friends together and be like, it's National Pizza Week. We have to go get pizza. Or if we're in the office, say, well, it's National Pizza Week. Let's just have pizza for lunch. Probably if it's a local pizzeria or anything like that, you're supporting another local business. You can provide that lunch for your shop or your team, tag that other business on Facebook and social media, sharing the love between you two. So It's a very hot topic, I guess.
I will say something. As good as pizza is, it only gets a week, whereas tacos get a day every week. Taco Tuesday.
And for the rest of this podcast, we'll just be talking about our favorite foods and which day of the week we eat them on.
Okay, the next week of the year, Hunt for Happiness Week. Talk about that.
Yeah, I would have to go look at National Day Calendar. If you're on that website, they have a good description of what all of these days are. Sometimes they have deeper meanings than what it looks like. But when we're talking about, it's supposed to be the first full week of the year. So that's not going to have any specific starting or end date. It'll be flexible from year to year, but the first full week of January. And at the start of a new year, when we're looking at resolutions and coming off the holidays, why would you not be hunting for happiness or still like relishing in the happiness of the holiday season? So that's easy topics. Come up and just share about things that make your team happy, make your community happy, make you happy as a shop owner, anything like that. It's just honing in on that idea that it gives you something to talk about. If you're like, gosh, I cannot make another breaks post. Like nobody's talking about breaks anymore. They've gotten their maintenance done. I need to be a human being and not gear or a wrench.
Our friends at Repair Pal are making today's episode possible. Don't lose work to your competition. Today's consumers check pricing during all stages of the repair process, before, during, and after. Did you know that 81% of them do online price comparisons before making a purchase, and customers that check your price after they've already authorized the work do so after calling the competition? But Repair Pal, the largest auto repair network, has a solution. Their Fair Price Estimator tool can be put on your website to help you build trust with consumers up front to demystify price, help educate consumers about what's involved in the repair, bring you higher web traffic, and prevent your customers from calling your competition. You have to be in it to win it, so head on over to repairpal.com/shops and set up a call to learn more about becoming Repair Pal certified. When you sign up, you'll get 1 month of service free and save $150 off certification. That's repairpal.com/shops. Independent auto repair shops, get ready to transform your business with App Fueled. It's time for your professional auto service shop to have its own customer loyalty app. App Fueled will build an app that launches a custom loyalty program for your shop in 30 days or less, fully integrated with your point of sale system. Bring Fortune 500 level customer retention strategies to your business without the Fortune 500 budget. Many shops are enjoying the benefits. Our app engages your customers with a loyalty ladder, enticing them to climb the next rung, coming back more often and spending more each visit, all with your own app. Build loyalty with your customers to your brand and boost your shop's growth. Get your first app in 30 days or less, all without breaking the bank. Ready to start? Let AppFueled take your business to the next level. Go to appfueled.com or meet founder Jeremy Glasgow and book your complimentary app vision session at appfueled.com/Jeremy. That's appfueled.com/Jeremy. Now, we're about to get into the days. And look, before you are listening to this and you're like, I don't care about these national days and all of that, we're going to talk about some like campaign ideas and things. When we get past this, we're going to talk about the things that you need to be thinking about, you know, that are really more serious, more in-depth marketing topics and marketing campaigns that you can get into. But, you know, we have to talk about these amazing days of the year. Like, no, this is not January, but my all-time favorite is Talk Like a Pirate Day. And there's so much that you can do with this stuff, okay? If you don't want to hear about the days of the year, just fast forward until we're talking about the campaign ideas. But there's so many of them. It's hard to narrow them down. I mean, there's literally probably 200 or more days of the year every month. And I'm talking about like days that are celebrated every single day. Now, my favorite one of the calendars is daysoftheyear.com. If you go over there and you look at it, I mean, there's going to be, 10 to 20 celebrations every single day. But Caroline, what is the most obvious day that we're celebrating in January?
King's Day.
What?
January 6th. It's the start of Mardi Gras.
Spoken like a true Louisianian.
Obviously, that would be New Year's Day. Your shop is probably closed this day anyways, but very easy thing. We talked about New Year's resolutions, New Year, New You. Maybe they have a new car, but very obvious. Always January 1st too. This one's not changing like some of the other ones may. We have New Year's Day. Yep. And some of these we do have the actual date for, but again, check those. And most of them we did not pull the dates just because they are subject to change every time. That might be like the third Thursday instead of January 1st every time.
So another day in January is the 55 mile per hour speed limit day. And I mean, as an auto repair shop, it only makes sense for you to talk about stuff like this. And the twist with this one, and you can go whatever direction you want to go. And look, don't confine yourself to just the days that we're talking about. Go to one of these days calendars and look at it and get creative, because there's so many other ones that we could have pulled. But 55 mile per hour speed limit day just sounds like the most miserable thing in the world to me. But I bet you, if you did a social media post about 55 mile an hour speed limit day, you are going to get so many comments on that thing of people talking about the, yeah, right, or, whatever their comment is about it. You might get some of your more seasoned clients that talk about the good old days where life was slowed down. And I love hearing the road trip stories from my mom.
Wait, was the fastest speed limit? Did that used to be 55 miles an hour?
Caroline is showing her age right now. Caroline is 26.
Yeah.
26 years old. When I was a kid, the speed limit was 55 miles per hour. And of course, that was in Louisiana. It goes state by state. But yeah, there was such a miserable time.
Yeah, I've got a lead foot. So that's all I'll say about 55 mile an hour speed limit day. Some of the other fun days that happen in January are show and tell day at work and National Trivia Day. I feel like those kind of go hand in hand. They're very similar, but show and tell what the repairs are, what maintenance is happening, that super crazy repair that came in, or it's going to be winter time. So when somebody came in and there's an entire rat's nest or squirrel's nest in the car, you can show and tell that. Trivia is also a really easy thing, talking about the fun automotive trivia, or if you're a specialty shop and you work only on BMWs, talking about some BMW history and BMW trivia, anything along those lines.
Yeah, and with show and tell day and all of these days that we're talking about, these are the perfect excuse for you to get out the phone and make a video. I know you've never heard me talk about making video before, and this is very unlike me to do that, but it's an opportunity to make some video with the whole show and tell thing. National Bobblehead Day. I can just see the car with the little bobblehead that's stuck to the dash.
The hula dancer.
Yeah. So I don't know. You could have some fun with that. National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day.
That's a big one.
Yeah. I mean, so what would somebody do with that?
I know something that we've done for shops in the past when we're working with them on their social media is you end up really promoting it all throughout the month. So going back to these daily topics don't have to just be one specific day. You can take that and run with it for the entire month. There's also probably a whole law enforcement appreciation month. I'm pretty sure this day does not change. It's January 9th, and that's Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. The funny thing to do is obviously have coffee and donuts at shop and have social media posts building up to that letting people know to any law enforcement officer in uniform that day can come by the shop or show their badge and come into the shop and have free coffee and donuts if you want to poke some fun at that coffee and donuts cliche. But you can also just do anything to appreciate them. If it's discounted services throughout the whole month, if they, on their personal vehicle, maybe if they show that their badge, it's kind of the same thing as having like a teacher discount or a first responder discount, something like that, where you're just kind of giving back to them. I know in other cases, there was, I feel like some sort of giveaway. I feel like if you came in being nominated, or you can nominate them, or if they came by during that month, they're entered for a raffle to win a gift card somewhere to take their family out to dinner or to go get more coffee and donuts or anything like that. Just something to give back, show appreciation, and get them into your shop. Let them know that you exist.
Yeah. All right. National Clean Off Your Desk Day, the second Monday of every January. And this is one that you could have some fun with, like, having people make a video about the most interesting thing that they found in the pile that's on their desk. And I have two desks. Okay. I have a desk in my house, which is in the big office that Kim and I share. And then I have a desk out in my shop. I've got a workshop at my house, and that office that's out in my shop, which is the one that you see in the background if you're watching this on video, that is where I spend most of my time. And my shop desk is pretty darn clean, but my house desk has become a catch-all because I never work in there anymore. That's like a this weekend thing, is to get in there and clean it off. But I guarantee you, I'm going to find things on there that I didn't know I had. It could make a fun post, where it's like, hey, share the craziest thing that you found on your desk when you're cleaning it off, and the one that gets the most likes gets a free oil change or something like that.
Also, it doesn't have to be your desk. It could be your work area and the craziest thing that's fallen into the toolbox while you're working. If you've lost your phone in there or lost an earbud or whatever's, if you're the technician's falling in there or what's behind your desk on the service advisor desk, especially if it's like kind of hidden from customers, it's probably prone to get a little messier if it's not super obvious. But I'm not going to attest to the messiness of Brian's desk, but I can attest that there are some crazy things on there every now and then. My desk is very messy right now, but there's probably something crazy on here too if I picked it all up and went through it.
I do love what you just said, though. Okay, the technician's toolbox is essentially their desk. And I've seen that meme going around that says there's two types of technicians, or it might say mechanics, I don't remember. And it shows one toolbox that is like perfectly organized, perfectly straight, not a thing on top of it that's not supposed to be there. And another one where the tools and car parts and everything are stacked 8 inches deep on top of the toolbox. That would be a really fun video to go around and show the different technicians and the different toolboxes.
And you know, the one that has the stack just knows where everything is too, though. Like they both know where everything is. So
look, I'm not going to lie. Part. That was me.
I believe it.
That was me. Oh yeah, I know you believe it because you know me. But now I did every Friday, the top of my toolbox was empty. I would put everything back where it was and clean everything up and all of that. But during the week, it could get a little crazy.
Some of the other days, so just about every single state has a national day at some point throughout the year. In January, the two that are listed, which we could be missing them, so like we said, double check. But we have National Arkansas Day and National Florida Day. So if you're in Arkansas or you're in Florida, very easy way to just talk about things that are local to you, things that are special within your area or that are just relevant to your state. Or if you do state inspections, that's a great time to remind people about state inspections.
So another one, and me being a Jeep guy, I have to love this, is National Rubber Ducky Day. And we have at least one client, and I think we might have more than one client, that has gone out and ordered custom rubber ducks because they want more Jeep work. And look, if you listen to some of my friends in the industry, like Mr. Chris Enright and Mr. Adam Rath, who love to rag on me for driving a Jeep, they'll tell you that those things are job security when you own an auto repair shop. Our friends over at Boca Auto, they want more Jeep work, and they went and had some custom ducks made that have their logo on it. It's got a nice little tag hanging off the side of it, and when they're out and about, they put those ducks on Jeeps that they see, and on the tag, I don't remember exactly what it says, but it's basically an invite to, come to them for the auto repairs that they need on their Jeep. My State Farm insurance person does it as well.
They're cute. I've seen Bocas. They have a little hat and a wrench in their hand too, and the little rubber ducky's hand.
Yeah.
A couple other ones we have are obviously Martin Luther King Day, and that's just national holidays that happen every year. We also have on there, somewhere on this list, Inauguration Day if it's an election year. So we'll have that coming into 2025. If you want to talk about those things in your marketing, if that's important to you and important to your business, and those are great things to talk about within your community. We've also got National Nothing Day. So do with that what you will. Do nothing with it. Do something with it.
That is for the people that hate these national days. And they're like, yeah, we're going to celebrate National Nothing Day.
Pretty much. We've also got Liners Day because I know that
JR would love that.
Nobody in the automotive industry is funny at all, and you'll never laugh in the shop. So it wouldn't make sense to share the jokes that don't happen in the shop, right?
No, the problem is they can't share the jokes that happen in the shop, because I've been in the shop and I know the jokes that happen in the shop.
The PC jokes can be shared, and that's a fun thing to do. Whoever comes in and has the most jokes all the time, just start recording them every now and then and, make sure it's appropriate, but just start recording them. So we said that today is the end of October. It's actually Halloween, and we're sorry we're not dressed up, but Brian, you missed it in stand up this morning. JR and Michelle, who were both dressed up in our morning meeting today, JR had a full skeleton bodysuit on. JR tells us a joke every single day. So we will probably have to do something ourselves with One-Liners Day, because JR or another person usually will give us mostly a dad joke every single day of the week in the morning to get our day started. And today, JR and Michelle went back and forth, probably each said about 5 Halloween related jokes, just spitting them out back and forth. And so it was on a Zoom meeting and it wasn't recorded, and we should have just started recording it at that point. But things like that it's really great when you're keeping those memories to yourself, and it's just fun camaraderie within the workplace. But especially when you are in person, you're able to kind of recreate things like that easily. It might take an extra minute or 2 out of your day, but tell them to repeat the joke and just say like, hey, let me get that joke on camera and post it on your page. That's another thing that's going to get so much engagement. And talk about know, like, and trust. Everybody, I think most people at least like laughing and they like comedy. So they'll appreciate that.
So I'll give you a couple of them that are just absolute perfect auto repair related days. Okay. International Reducing CO2 Emissions Day. That's not going to be a fun one. It's just going to be a serious one where you're educating people. And, we have shops that are like certified green shops. They can talk about that kind of thing, the work that they do to make sure that they're keeping the environment clean. And then National Plan for Vacation Day is another one. I mean, if you're going to take a road trip, especially for vacation, you need to make sure that your car is in great condition. And on National Plan for Vacation Day, you might offer a free pre-trip inspection. We all know what a pre-trip inspection is. It's an opportunity for you to do a DVI on their car and find all of the things that need to be done with it. Most shops that I know of, they love getting those pre-trip inspections and, the inspection before the kids go off to college and all that kind of stuff. So those two, they happen in January and they are perfectly related to auto repair.
I agree. There are a couple more days, but none of them are super specific. So we're going to go ahead and go into some other campaign ideas and talk.
No, I got to talk about one more.
Oh, gosh.
I was leaving it for you, but
I didn't mean to put this on the list. I removed it.
Since you're passing it up, it's Yodel for Your Neighbors Day. And look, I'm sorry, but you have to do this, okay? You get your camera out and you need to have your techs and your service advisors, your entire team, do their best yodeling. That would be so much fun.
Brian, you just surprise me so much sometimes because there are times you're very straight-laced and like to the point and we're getting business done and we're working and you're focused. And then there are times where you send me examples of ads or videos on social media or you talk about things like this. And I just know that if I pulled out my phone at the office one day and I was like, Brian, go yodel, you would look at me like I had 6 heads for a minute and then you'd be like, okay, I'll do it. But I know that if I did exactly what you're suggesting, you would be like, you would just probably just walk out the room for a minute and be like, I'm not listening right now. And then eventually get into it. But
hey, look,
he's getting better.
Years ago, they have me singing Mariah Carey's, what's her famous Christmas song?
All I Want for Christmas Is You. I remember that video.
Yeah.
I was not here for that, but I love pulling it out every Christmas and sending it to everybody.
And I apologize to every single person who's ever heard that video.
It's a good one. Maybe we'll bring something like that back. If Brian wants y'all to go yodel at Your Neighbors, maybe Shop Marketing Pros should bring back content like that too. So
yeah. Let's get into some more serious stuff now, some campaign ideas that you might put in place in January.
We talked a lot about the new year, new car care focus, all of that, but a different way to kind of incentivize this or present it to your audience could be something like New Year, New Performance, where you're offering something like a New Year's performance checkup, which is very similar to that pre-trip inspection or pre-buy inspection, anything like that, where you're just providing them that complete digital vehicle inspection, make sure they're running best for the year ahead. They have everything in place, creating them a maintenance plan that can get them throughout the year. And just easy way to start off the year with that. Another one we've got is resolve your check engine light campaign. So if you're talking about resolutions, keep that check engine light resolved and not flashing on your dashboard. And that's easy things to make light of, but also be really educational about.
Oh, I would probably get deep into that one about how you can't personally be better if you're allowing all of the things around you to be mediocre, like driving around with your check engine light and your tire pressure monitor and all of these things on. That you need to surround yourself with excellence and your car needs to be excellent.
Basically, yeah. All that 4-dimensional man stuff.
Yeah.
Another fun idea that we've seen happen at conferences and things like this too is having a savings passport. So whether it's specifically savings or just anything else, some sort of passport where throughout the year as maintenance services are completed, it's kind of the same way where if you get your 10 coffees, you get your free coffee at the end of it. But if you get all of the recommended maintenance needed within that year, that at the end of the year, when you collect your stamps or your check marks, or maybe a stamp that looks like a check engine light at the end of the year, or when those maintenance services and stamps are all collected, that there's a reward for the clients who have stuck around and become probably loyal customers at that point if they're not already. And whether it's savings on services or some other kind of incentivization where you're giving away a gift card, tickets to a local sporting event, whatever's happening towards the end of the year in your community that makes it worthwhile that they're actually going to want to go back and get that passport completed.
And some of these that we're talking about, they could really be done any time of the year. It's not necessarily a January thing, and we're going to come back to those. I will get into a couple of them that are really specific to January, maybe specific to the early part of the year. For example, a campaign around the tax refund. And I know that a lot of shops will send out like a rebate check or something like that is related to that to get people thinking about, you're about to get this tax refund invested into your vehicle. So that is one that you can do. And then, all right, Girl Scout season. What is Girl Scout season, Caroline?
Girl Scout cookies. And everybody
loves
loves
a January
cookies.
Thing?
It might not be January specifically, but it starts early in the year and it's into the spring. Yeah, my cousin's kids are in the Girl Scouts, and it was this past January. And I remember because it was Mardi Gras and we were at a parade and my cousin was walking around and forced me to buy some Girl Scout cookies from his daughter. And I gladly did. And we got them a couple weeks later. So
the Girl Scouts
at least order them in January.
Are the ones to blame for all of these broken New Year's resolutions. All of these failed diets. They come out with their cookies in January when everybody's trying to get their crap together.
You got to love Girl Scout cookies. I know a lot of shops that support a local troop, and they will go and just buy hordes and hordes of cookies. And as customers are coming in, they just ask them what flavor they want, which flavor they want, and give a box or two away of the Girl Scout cookies to every customer that comes in. You could also do more of a drive and kind of turn it into some sort of fundraiser if that was the case, but there might be some ramifications around what you can and can't do with the Girl Scout cookies. You might only be able to give them away. But look, my car needs maintenance right now, honestly, but if I needed maintenance in January, I would go to the shop that was giving me Girl Scout cookies.
Well, now we know how to get Caroline as a client. The Family Fleet Service Package. That is one, again, it doesn't have to be in January. You could do this at any time of the year, but we're just giving you some additional ideas here. If you're working on one person's vehicle, if you're working on dad's vehicle, well, you might as well be working on mom's vehicle. You might as well be working on, little Johnny and little Susie's vehicle also. And that is something that I have seen some shops do and have some success with, where they essentially do a campaign telling people, we want to work on all of your cars. It's a great way to, increase the work that you're getting. Sometimes people have a car that they may think that you don't work on. For instance, when I had my shop, we were a Euro shop. However, everybody that owns a Mercedes also owns a Tahoe or a Suburban. I don't know what it is, but they just do. And I had technicians that were at my shop that came from a domestic background. And it's like, well, why not? That wasn't something that was a main part of our advertising because we were a Euro shop. We were a specialty shop. However, when we were talking to our clients and we would see them get dropped off in that Tahoe or that Suburban or whatever it was, we would let them know, hey, we can work on that too. So sometimes the additional car count that you need is right there among your own clients.
We hear a lot of shops in our kickoff meetings when we're learning a new shop and getting to know them, especially when they're a specialty shop. And we're like, okay, so you don't work on anything else. Like, we're not going to talk about it in your marketing, but they're like, well, we work on this, but I'm not going to, they always give the example. If their husband or wife drive this kind of vehicle or their kid gets a Toyota and we don't typically work on Toyotas, like, we'll still work on it for them. We're still going to maintain that vehicle unless it is way beyond our scope and it's something we can't do. So that's a piece of marketing that is not going to probably go into your digital marketing. It's not going to go into any messaging that's happening online. You might not want it there, but this is the marketing where every experience they have within the shop is marketing, where your service advisor is picking up on those things, noticing which cars are dropped often, or even if you just notice that somebody's got a wedding ring on and you only service their car and there's nobody else in the system that is that person's obvious partner, you can say, hey, who works on your partner's vehicle? And just start that conversation. It helps the whole idea of getting to know, like, and trust your shop, but also building that rapport and that relationship with your customer so that they can become raving fans, as we would say.
Now, it is something that would be viable to put out in your email newsletter to your clients, or even direct mail pieces that are focused on your existing clients to let them know, hey, if you drive these other types of vehicles, we can take care of that too. All right, talk about early bird specials.
All right, this is our last big one for January, and we've talked about not much happened. Besides the start of Mardi Gras and Girl Scout cookies, not much really happens in January. People are working on their resolutions. Your community is probably pretty quiet. Early bird specials. We know if you're looking at your months, January is probably a slow month in your shop. We're coming off of the holidays. So encouraging people to get ahead of their scheduling when we talked about resolutions being to have your oil changes scheduled, anything along those lines, offering some sort of early bird special, staying ahead of things, prioritizing maintenance and filling your schedule up sooner rather than later. Even if it's maintenance they don't want right now, schedule it for a couple of weeks out when you still might be a little bit slower than your peak seasons, but schedule it out at a time where they're recovered from that Christmas spending and they'll be able to come back and maybe have some sort of special if it's related to them booking it earlier in the year.
Yep. All right. Well, I hope that this has helped. One of the main things, though, is you can listen to this and you can get some ideas from it. But until you actually take the time to go sit down and start doing some planning, it's not going to happen. You'll think about it and next thing you know, it's January and it's like, oh yeah, I meant to do that. And I know that from experience because we talk all the time about eating our own dog food. Well, we used to not necessarily eat our own dog food. That is something that over the last 5 years or so, we've really made it where if we're teaching about planning, we're planning. It has made such a big impact on our business. So make sure to set aside the time each month to plan for a couple of months ahead. Make sure to set some time aside at the end of the year also. And I say the end of the year, usually around that late September or just say October. In October to really plan out what's going to happen in the next year and think about the things that you want to see happen in your business. Matter of fact, Caroline just did a Tuesday teaching. It's in our Facebook group, the Auto Repair Marketing Mastermind. Go to Facebook, search for Auto Repair Marketing Mastermind. There should be a link in the show notes to the Auto Repair Marketing Mastermind. If you're a shop owner or someone in shop management, you can join that group. We are very protective of that group to make sure that we're not allowing people in there who are like DMing you and trying to sell you stuff and all of that. It is a group of really great shop owners. It is about 1,900 strong right now as we record, and it just continues to grow. And these are people that they are helpful. They really are. And you also get access to my team because my team is in there answering stuff all the time.
I mentioned this in that Tuesday teaching as well, which if you do go in that group and want to watch that Tuesday teaching, if you search in the group for October Tuesday teaching, it should come up. But something that I mentioned in that Tuesday teaching and that I'll say right here too is when you are sitting down making a plan, we talked about a lot in the past almost hour of our conversation here. And there are many more ideas that you're going to see online or seeing other shops do. We also talk a lot about having SMART goals. So SMART being an acronym and most of those things being specific, attainable, realistic, and timely. So there are a lot of ideas and measurable. Yes. Thank you. There are a lot of ideas here. We are not telling you to do all of them.
No.
Even if you just pick one major campaign and you run that, or you take one major campaign and one fun day per week or one fun day every other week, whatever is going to be reasonable and actually happen for you. Give yourself a stretch goal and try something that might challenge you, but make sure that you're realistic about going forward and deciding those things. Because if your plan is unrealistic and you're like, well, I'm going to do every single thing that's on the January content ideas that Shop Marketing Pros gave me, you're going to hate your life.
And you're going to overwhelm your audience.
Yeah. And that's not what we're telling you to do.
Yeah. It's like pick the things that you like and go run with it. And if you don't see something here that you like, especially around those days of the year or the monthly themes or whatever, go to one of those, the National Days calendars and look at all of the different things that are there because I'm telling you, we just touched on it. So we're going to do this every month. And I hope that you'll listen throughout the year and get some ideas to go make your marketing awesome. Remember, we are just one of a handful of podcasts on the Aftermarket Radio Network. You can find the rest of them at aftermarketradionetwork.com. I want to thank Repair Pal and AppFueled for being our sponsors. Without them, we could not do this. We hope that you'll listen in again next week. And until then, go fill those bays.
You've been listening to the Auto Repair Marketing Podcast with Kim and Brian Walker. Follow the podcast on your favorite listening app. Find their emails in the show notes and visit them at shopmarketingpros.com. Let Kim and Brian know what you want discussed because they're all about advancing the aftermarket.